God's chosen ones, prepare for the summons. Your divine government invitation is coming. Don't ignore this divine wisdom. What if everything you've experienced, every setback, every betrayal, every financial struggle, wasn't random but preparation? What if the government already knows about the divine transfer of wealth coming to your account? What if your name is on a classified list that powerful officials are reviewing right now? Listen carefully, because what I'm about to share with you isn't meant for everyone. This message is for the chosen ones, God's selected vessels who've been hidden for such a time as this. If you've been seeing the numbers 777, 1111, or waking up at exactly 3:33 a.m., if you've had dreams about standing before people in positions of power, or if you felt a strange stirring in your spirit lately, type "I receive it" in the comments right now. Don't just watch, declare it. Something extraordinary is happening in Washington, D.C. that directly affects your destiny. A government official, someone handpicked by God and placed in a position of authority, is preparing an invitation meant specifically for you. This isn't politics. This isn't conspiracy. This is prophecy unfolding before our eyes. The system that's kept you struggling paycheck to paycheck, the forces that have held your God-given wealth hostage for decades, they are about to be exposed. You, chosen one, are about to be vindicated. Would you recognize a divine appointment if it arrived disguised as a government summons, or would you dismiss it as junk mail and miss the greatest opportunity of your life? I've received word that within the next 40 days, a wave of unusual government communications will reach God's chosen ones across America. These won't be ordinary letters. They'll contain access to resources, connections, and opportunities that have been kept from you. The enemy doesn't want you to see this video. That's why I need you to do something right now. Hit the like button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. The algorithms are working against messages like this, but they can't stop what God has ordained. Stay with me for the next few minutes. What I'm about to reveal could be the missing piece you've been praying for, the key that unlocks the financial breakthrough God promised you decades ago. Your suffering wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Your waiting wasn't wasted, it was weaponized. Now, chosen one, your time has come. This sacred opening is not by accident. Have you ever felt like your entire life has been leading to something greater? Something you can't quite see yet, but can feel deep in your spirit? Have you ever wondered why you've endured hardships that others haven't? Struggles that seem designed specifically for you? Look at me, this is no coincidence. You finding this message today isn't random. The fact that you're still watching, that something inside you recognizes truth in these words, is confirmation. Beloved, you are not born by accident. You are not a mistake. You were intricately designed, carefully crafted, and divinely positioned for this moment in history. Every struggle you've faced, every financial setback, every betrayal, every night you cried yourself to sleep, wondering if God had forgotten you, was preparation, not punishment. Jeremiah 10 verse 5 tells us, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Let that sink in. Before you drew your first breath, God knew your name. Before your parents held you, God had already designated you for a divine purpose. I need to ask you something, and I want you to really think about it. Why do you think so many doors have closed in your life? Why have relationships ended unexpectedly? Why have opportunities vanished just when you thought you had them secured? The system wants you to believe it's because you weren't good enough. The world wants you to think it's because you weren't smart enough, young enough, or connected enough. But I'm here to tell you the truth. Those doors weren't closing. They were protecting you, guiding you, steering you towards something far greater than what your human mind could comprehend. Even now, as I speak these words, there are forces moving in Washington, people in positions of authority placed there by God Himself, who are beginning to recognize the chosen ones scattered across this nation. The elites have known for generations that true power doesn't rest in their hands. It rests in the hands of God-appointed vessels, people just like you, who have been hidden in plain sight, refined through suffering, waiting for their moment of divine activation. Romans 8 verse 28 promises us that God works all things together for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. All things, not just the good things, not just the blessings, but the heartbreaks, the rejections, the times you were passed over, the financial crises that left you wondering how you'd pay next month's rent. Chosen one, do you understand what I'm telling you? A divine convergence is happening. The spiritual and political realms are aligning in ways not seen since biblical times. In the days of Esther, a humble Jewish girl was strategically positioned to save her people from annihilation. For such a time as this, her cousin told her. She didn't choose her position, she was chosen for it, just like you. In the story of Joseph, a man betrayed by his own family rose to become second in command of the most powerful nation on earth. His suffering wasn't meaningless, it was preparation for his divine appointment, just like yours. Right now, yes, right now, there are government officials who have been divinely positioned, people with access to resources and information, who are being prompted by the Holy Spirit to seek out God's chosen ones. You're about to receive an invitation, not just any invitation, but a summons to step into the fullness of your divine purpose. This won't come the way you expect. It might arrive as a letter with a strange seal. It might come as an unexpected phone call. It might manifest as a chance meeting with someone who recognizes the anointing on your life. But make no mistake, this invitation is not from men. It's from a higher authority working through human vessels who have been strategically positioned. When this invitation comes, and it will come, will you recognize it, or will you dismiss it as coincidence? Will you step forward in faith, or will you shrink back in doubt? The time for hiding is over. The season of preparation is complete. The moment of divine revelation is upon us. Chosen one, your suffering was not in vain. Your waiting was not wasted. Everything has been leading to this divine moment of recognition and activation. The question is, are you ready to answer the call when it comes? Are you prepared to step into the destiny that was written for you before the foundations of the earth were laid? Because what I'm about to reveal next explains exactly why this divine appointment is happening now, and why forces, both seen and unseen, have been working desperately to keep you from discovering your true identity and purpose. Signs before the summoning. Have you been experiencing strange dreams lately? Not ordinary dreams, but visions of walking through grand hallways, standing before powerful figures, or receiving sealed documents you can't quite read. These aren't random fantasies. These are divine signals. God has always communicated with His chosen ones through dreams. In Genesis 41, Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dreams about the coming famine. In Daniel 2, God revealed the future of nations through Nebuchadnezzar's dream of a statue. Before any major divine appointment, God sends warnings, signals that something extraordinary is about to happen. And it's happening to you right now. Let me ask you something personal, and I want you to really think about this. Have you felt like you're being watched lately? Not in a threatening way, but like someone is taking notice of you. Maybe you've had strange encounters with people in positions of authority, a police officer who treated you with unusual respect, a government worker who seemed to recognize something special about you. These aren't coincidences, these are confirmations. In Acts chapter 9 verse 10, before Paul received his official commissioning, God prepared Ananias through a vision. God always prepares both sides of a divine appointment, the person being called and the person doing the calling. Right now, someone in a position of governmental authority is being directed to reach out to you. They may not even fully understand why they're drawn to your file, your case, your information, but God is orchestrating this encounter behind the scenes. The second sign, you've been experiencing strange coincidences with numbers or names. Maybe you keep seeing 777 on license plates. Maybe you've been repeatedly encountering people with names connected to authority, like king, judge, or major. In Isaiah 45 verse 13, God says to Cyrus, "I will go before you and will level the mountains. I will break down gates of bronze and cut through bars of iron. I will give you hidden treasures, riches stored in secret places." God is signaling that He's about to connect you with resources that have been deliberately hidden from you. The third sign, and this is crucial, you've been experiencing unusual financial delays or blockages, checks that didn't arrive, accounts frozen without explanation, benefits suddenly under review. This is spiritual warfare at its most desperate. The enemy knows what's coming and is making one final attempt to block your blessing. Daniel 10 verses 12 to 13 tells us, "Do not be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Even divine messengers face resistance when delivering breakthrough blessings. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. The greater the resistance, the greater the blessing being blocked. What's coming to you is so significant that forces are mobilizing to prevent it. You're not alone in this experience. Thousands of God's chosen ones across America are experiencing these same signs. The government official God has assigned to your case is preparing the invitation right now. In Esther 4 verse 14, Mordecai tells Esther, "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" You've been positioned through every hardship, every setback, every delay, precisely for this moment in history. If you've experienced any of these signs, the dreams of authority figures, the feeling of being noticed, unusual financial blockages, recurring numbers like 777, I want you to type "preparing for my appointment" in the comments right now. Don't just watch passively. This is your moment to declare your readiness for what God is orchestrating. But you might be wondering, why now? Why is this divine government connection happening at this precise moment in history? What if I told you that a massive wealth transfer has already begun? What if the very system that's been designed to keep you struggling is about to be reversed in your favor? The invitation that's coming isn't just about meeting someone important. It's about accessing what has been rightfully yours all along. But there's something critical you must understand before this invitation arrives at your door, something the government official themselves may not even fully comprehend. The big door opens, an unannounced meeting. It happens on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. You're going about your day, maybe paying bills, maybe fixing a meal, when three firm knocks echo through your home. Not the hurried knocks of a delivery person, not the familiar pattern of a neighbor. These knocks carry weight, like someone who knows they have the right to be heard. You approach the door, feeling something shift in the atmosphere of your home. The air feels heavier, charged with something you can't explain. When you open that door, nothing will ever be the same again. Standing before you is a man in a crisp, dark suit. His posture is military straight, but his eyes don't belong to any ordinary government worker. They hold something ancient, something that sees right through you. "Are you your name?" he asks, though you sense he already knows the answer. You nod, unable to find words. Without explanation, he extends a letter toward you. The envelope is heavier than it should be, made of rich, cream-colored paper that nobody uses anymore. There, pressed into deep red wax, is a seal you've never seen before, Symbols that seem to shift when you try to focus on them. Wings, eyes, ancient patterns that somehow feel familiar to your soul. You'll want to read this in private, he says, his voice carrying an authority that makes even the birds outside fall silent. As you take the envelope, a jolt, like static electricity but deeper, passes from the paper into your fingertips, up your arm, straight to your heart. This is no ordinary letter. This is no ordinary man. The problems you've been facing, the financial struggles that keep you awake at night, the health concerns that doctors can't seem to solve, the relationships that have mysteriously fallen apart. Suddenly, they all feel connected to this moment. My name is Lucas, he says, watching your reaction carefully. I've been sent to find you. Lucas, the name echoes in your mind like you've heard it before, maybe in a dream, maybe in a prayer. You notice now that everything around him seems altered. The usual neighborhood sounds have disappeared. The air doesn't move. It's as if time itself stands respectful when this man speaks. We've been watching you, Lucas continues, his eyes, those impossibly deep eyes that seem to contain centuries of wisdom, never leaving yours. And the time has come. The time has come. 4 simple words that make your heart race. The time has come for what? Chosen one, I need to ask you something important. Have strange coincidences been happening in your life lately? Numbers that repeat everywhere you look? Dreams that feel more real than your waking hours? People from your past suddenly reappearing? Doors closing and opening in ways that defy logic? These aren't accidents. These are spiritual markers, divine breadcrumbs leading you to this moment of revelation. In the book of Esther, 4 verse 14, Mordecai tells Esther, "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" God positioned Esther precisely where she needed to be at exactly the right moment to save her people. Just like Esther, you've been positioned for this exact moment in history. Every hardship, every setback, every victory, all of it was preparation. The world system has been designed to keep God's chosen ones struggling, to keep you distracted with survival so you never discover the power sleeping within you. They've created financial obstacles, health challenges, and relationship complications, all to keep you from stepping into your divine assignment. But something has changed. The spiritual atmosphere has shifted, and now those in positions of power, those who see beyond the veil between worlds, are being compelled to seek you out. Lucas is more than a government official. He represents a hidden council, people in positions of earthly authority who answer to a higher power. They've recognized something in you that you may not fully see in yourself yet. When Lucas hands you that letter, he's not just delivering a message, he's acknowledging that the time of hiding is over. The season of preparation has served its purpose. Now begins the season of elevation. As you break the seal, your hands trembling slightly, the letter unfolds to reveal words that seem to glow with purpose. Your presence is requested by the authority of the highest order. The time of transfer has begun. Transfer, not just of information, not just of opportunity, but a divine transfer of wealth, influence, and purpose that has been held in trust for you since before you were born. The enemy has worked overtime to make you doubt your calling, to make you question whether God could possibly use someone like you. He sent financial hardships, health scares, and relationship betrayals to convince you that you're ordinary. But Lucas sees what you've forgotten. Those eyes, windows to wisdom acquired across generations, recognize the royal bloodline flowing through your spiritual veins. Chosen one, if you can feel something stirring inside you right now, if you sense that this message is speaking directly to your spirit, I need you to do something crucial. Type 888 in the comments below right now. This isn't just a comment, it's a declaration to the spiritual realm that you are ready to receive what's been prepared for you. The invitation Lucas brings isn't just a piece of paper. It's the key unlocking doors that have been strategically closed against you until now. Behind those doors lie the resources, connections, and divine appointments necessary for your God-given assignment. What happens next will test everything you think you know about your purpose and identity. But remember this: when Joseph stood before Pharaoh, he wasn't standing as a prisoner anymore. In a single moment, he stepped from the dungeon into his destiny. Your moment has arrived. The question is, are you ready to open the door? The divine command. You were marked from before. Listen closely to what I'm about to tell you, because this isn't just information, it's revelation. Have you ever felt like an outsider in your own family? Have you ever looked around at Thanksgiving dinner and thought, how am I related to these people? That feeling wasn't just teenage rebellion. It wasn't just you being difficult. It was your spirit recognizing what your mind couldn't yet comprehend. You were marked before birth, set apart, different. Officer Lucas didn't find you by accident. The government isn't tracking you because you're ordinary. They've identified something in your spiritual DNA that threatens the very system they've built to keep God's chosen ones suppressed. Your family, your grandparents, have hidden secrets, ancient knowledge passed down through whispers, through seemingly insignificant family traditions that you never understood the meaning of. And now, your generation is called to fulfill an ancient oath. Do you think it's coincidence that you're watching this right now? That out of millions of videos, this message found you? Remember how Queen Esther was placed in the palace for such a time as this? She wasn't just lucky, she was positioned by God at the exact moment when her people needed her most. Esther 4 verse 14 tells us, "Who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Just like Esther, you've been positioned exactly where you need to be right now. Every trial, every financial setback, every betrayal, it wasn't random cruelty, it was training. The world tried to break you because it feared what would happen when you discovered who you really are. When Joseph's brothers threw him into a pit and sold him into slavery, they thought they were destroying him. But Genesis 50 verse 20 reveals the divine strategy. What they meant for evil, God has turned for good. The pit wasn't Joseph's end, it was his preparation. The same brothers who tried to destroy him eventually bowed before him. The same system that imprisoned him eventually served him. Now, chosen one, I need to tell you something that might shock you. You don't belong to the bloodline you think you do. Your spiritual DNA comes from a different source entirely. In John 1 verses 12 to 13, Scripture reveals, "But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, who were born, not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God." Do you understand what this means? You were never meant to fit in. The confusion you felt, the sense that you were different, the feeling of being misunderstood by your own family, it wasn't your imagination. It wasn't you being difficult. It was your royal blood recognizing that you were born for more than what you've settled for. Look at your life right now. Is this all you were meant for? Working your fingers to the bone for decades, only to worry about medical bills and whether Social Security will cover your basic needs? Is this what the king's child deserves? The government official who's seeking you out, Officer Lucas, he knows your true identity. He's seen your name in places you can't imagine. He's witnessed the fear that spreads through corridors of power when your awakening is discussed. Why do you think they've worked so hard to keep you struggling financially? Why do you think they've flooded you with messages of mediocrity your entire life? Because a king without resources is just a beggar with a crown. They've kept your inheritance from you to keep you powerless. But now, everything is about to change. The invitation coming your way isn't just a piece of paper. It's the key that unlocks access to what's already yours. Resources, connections, power, purpose. Your family lineage has been waiting generations for this moment, for you to stand up and claim what was stolen. If you ever felt different as a child, if you ever sensed you were meant for something more, if you ever cried out to God wondering why you felt so out of place, I need you to do something right now. Type "I was chosen" in the comments. Declare it. Own it. Let the algorithms, let the watching world, let the spiritual forces all around us hear your declaration. The moment you acknowledge your true identity is the moment everything shifts. The moment you accept your divine bloodline is the moment doors begin to open. But what happens next might terrify you, because once you step into this truth, once you acknowledge who you really are, there's no going back to who you once were. The invitation coming your way will demand a response, and your response will determine whether you remain in exile or step into your kingdom. Are you ready for what comes next? Ancient game exposed, hidden forces. You felt it, haven't you? That strange sense that the world you see isn't the whole picture. That nagging feeling in your spirit when you watch the news, when you see governments falling, when you witness unexplainable shifts in power. It's not paranoia, chosen one, it's awakening. What I'm about to share will shake the very foundation of how you see the world. Officer Lucas leaned forward, his eyes piercing mine, and whispered, "You are not just a chosen one. You are a key piece in a war that has been going on since before time began. This isn't just about politics or money. This is about an invisible battle that has been raging since before the foundations of the earth were laid. A cosmic chess game where kings and pawns are moved by forces most can't even perceive. Look around you. Do you think it's normal that empires that stood for centuries suddenly crumble overnight? That powerful leaders vanish without explanation? That entire populations are silenced while others rise to prominence? Ephesians 6 verse 12 tells us, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." The Bible wasn't being poetic, it was giving us a warning. Since the dawn of time, these forces have operated in the shadows, orchestrating events from behind a veil that few can see through. The Tower of Babel, the fall of Rome, the unexplained wealth transfers throughout history, all pieces in an ancient game. But something is shifting, chosen one, something these powers never anticipated. You and others like you, God's chosen ones, are awakening. Across America, people who can see through the veil, who can recognize these forces for what they are, people whose spiritual DNA carries a divine activation code that threatens the entire system they've built. Why do you think you've struggled so hard financially despite your prayers, your faith, your hard work? Why have doors been slammed in your face when you were clearly qualified? Why have relationships mysteriously fallen apart when they were getting serious? It wasn't bad luck, it was targeted opposition. The enemy knows exactly who you are, even if you're just beginning to realize it yourself. Daniel stood before kings. Joseph ruled over Egypt's resources. Esther accessed the palace and saved her people. These weren't fairy tales, they were battle plans written for this moment in history. And now, the chosen ones are rising, and governments are afraid. That's why they're reaching out. That's why this mysterious invitation is coming. The system that was built to control is now seeking those who can help them navigate what's coming. Look at Revelation 3 verse 8. "I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." That door is opening right now. The question is, will you walk through it, or will fear hold you back? I know this is overwhelming. I know it sounds like something from a movie. But deep in your spirit, you already knew this, didn't you? You've sensed it. You've felt it. That's why you're still watching. This information isn't for everyone. Some will mock it, some will dismiss it. But those who are truly chosen will feel it resonating in their bones. If you dare to look at the truth, like this video right now, and share it with someone you believe is also chosen, this act of courage breaks the algorithm designed to suppress these revelations and connects the chosen ones together. The ancient forces thought they had centuries more to operate in darkness. They never expected God would awaken his chosen ones so suddenly, with such clarity of purpose. Now ask yourself this: if you've been chosen for this moment in history, what will you do with the divine invitation that's already on its way to you? But before I reveal exactly what this invitation will contain and how to recognize it when it arrives, I need you to understand something critical. Right now, this invitation isn't just another piece of mail. It's a divine summons that will force you to make the most important decision of your life. Proposal and warning, listen closely. Chosen one, the world you've known, where you've struggled, where you've been overlooked, where your God-given talents have been suppressed, that world is about to shatter completely. You feel that pressure in your chest right now? That's not anxiety, that's your spirit recognizing truth. That's your soul awakening to what's been hidden from you. Officer Lucas, this government official chosen by God, will present you with two paths, and I need you to be prepared for this moment. The first path: accept the divine power and position that's been kept from you. Step into the authority that's rightfully yours. Access the wealth transfer that God has ordained for his chosen ones in these final days. But understand this: the moment you say yes, your old life ends forever. Your comfortable anonymity, gone. Your ability to blend in with those who live ordinary lives, finished. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. God is not calling you to remain comfortable, he's calling you to be set apart. The second path: refuse this divine appointment. Turn away from what God has prepared for you. And make no mistake, there are consequences. Those who reject divine appointments don't simply return to normal life. They become watched, marked, spiritually isolated from the light they once glimpsed. Remember what happened to Jonah when he fled from God's calling. The storm came, not just for him, but for everyone around him. Your decision affects more than just you. In Esther 4 verse 14, I warned, if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? The choice will be set before you, but understand this: not choosing is still a choice. If you don't choose, you will still be chosen, not as a player, but as a piece on the board. You will be played instead of being the player. Look around at your life right now. The financial struggles, the health challenges, the relationships that keep falling apart. Do you think it's all random? No. These are the consequences of not stepping into your divine appointment. I've seen it happen to thousands across America. Elderly believers who had divine appointments decades ago, but let fear keep them from saying yes. Now they sit alone, watching others walk in the prosperity and influence that should have been theirs. Is that what you want? To look back at age 80 or 90 and realize you had your moment but let it pass you by? The invitation is coming. When that government envelope arrives, whether in your mailbox, your email, or through an unexpected phone call, you will have only a brief window to respond. The wealth transfer won't wait. The divine positioning won't pause while you overthink it. The enemy is counting on your hesitation. If you are ready to step into your true destiny, to claim what God has been preparing for you through decades of hidden refinement, I need you to make a declaration right now. Type "I accept the call" in the comments below. This isn't just a comment, it's a spiritual decree. It's you alerting heaven that when your divine appointment arrives, you will not hesitate. Remember this moment, the day you stopped being a spectator in your own life and became the chosen vessel God always intended you to be. What happens next will astonish everyone who ever doubted you. The truth about you, you are not just chosen, you are sent. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will shatter everything you thought you knew about your purpose. You've been told you're chosen. You've been told you're special. But that's only half the truth. You weren't just chosen to receive blessings, you were sent, dispatched with divine authority to accomplish something specific that heaven itself is waiting for you to complete. Does that make you uncomfortable? Good. Truth should shake you. For decades you felt it, that nagging feeling that you were meant for more, that sense that God has something specific for your hands to build, your voice to declare, your life to fulfill. You thought it was just wishful thinking. It wasn't. When Moses stood before the burning bush, God didn't just say, "I've chosen you." He said, "I am sending you to Pharaoh." When Esther trembled before her moment of decision, Mordecai didn't just remind her she was special. He asked her, "Who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" This isn't spiritual feel-good talk, this is divine assignment. John 17 verse 18 records Jesus' own words, "As the Father sent me into the world, so I have sent them into the world." Ask yourself, why have you survived what should have destroyed you? Why do you still have breath in your lungs after that health scare everyone thought would take you out? Why are you still standing after financial collapse, after betrayal, after rejection? Because your mission isn't complete. Heaven won't call you home until your assignment is fulfilled. That government invitation coming your way, it's not random, it's the next doorway to your divine appointment. The system that's kept God's people struggling paycheck to paycheck is about to face divine intervention, and you are the vessel God has positioned for this moment. While others were chasing comfort, you were being forged in the fire. While others were building their kingdoms, God was preparing you for His. You're not just a believer, you're an ambassador with diplomatic immunity from heaven itself. Your social security card doesn't define you, your spiritual authority does. Type "I was sent" in the comments right now. If you finally understand that God didn't preserve you all these years just to sit in a rocking chair, He preserved you to complete a mission that will shake the foundations of this nation. The question isn't whether you've been sent. The question is, will you finally accept the assignment that's been waiting for you since before you took your first breath? Your age isn't a disqualification, it's your qualification. You've seen enough, endured enough, and learned enough to handle what's coming next. Are you ready to discover exactly what you were sent to accomplish? The mission behind the summons. What I'm about to reveal to you was meant to stay hidden. The powers that control this world have spent billions keeping this knowledge buried, but they can't stop what's coming. Why you? Lucas asks, his voice cutting through the silence. Of all people, why would someone in my position seek you out? The truth is shattering. You weren't chosen because you're perfect. You were chosen because of what flows in your spiritual bloodline. Look around at your life. The unexplained struggles, the financial barriers that appeared out of nowhere, the relationships that mysteriously fell apart just when things were going well. Did you really think that was random? That was targeting. In Genesis 1 verse 27, God says He created mankind in His own image. But what the traditional churches won't tell you is that this image isn't just appearance, it's code, divine code. The same code that built the universe is written into your spiritual DNA. Watch closely, Lucas commands. You see that? That reaction is only supposed to happen in the presence of someone carrying the original spiritual frequency. Someone with the capacity to unlock what's been sealed since the Garden of Eden. This code has been fragmented, scattered across bloodlines. The system knows this. That's why they've worked overtime to keep certain people like you, distracted, broke, and doubting your worth. They don't fear your wallet, they fear your awakening. Psalm 82 verse 6 tells us, I said, "You are God's, children of the Most High, all of you." They've spent centuries making sure you never understood the power of that scripture. This is unprecedented, Lucas whispers, genuine awe in his voice. The response is stronger than we anticipated. You don't need to become someone special. Don't you understand? You are the door to the transformation. The financial breakthrough heading your way isn't just about money. It's about funding the awakening of your true purpose. Right now, feel that stirring in your spirit. That's not emotion, that's recognition. Part of you already knows why you're here. The question isn't whether you're chosen. The question is, will you accept the mission when the invitation arrives? Or will you be the one person who had the key but was too afraid to turn it? What happens next will determine everything, not just for you, but for all of us. Your place in the sacred map, beloved. What I'm about to show you isn't taught in Sunday school. It's not preached from pulpits. Most pastors don't even know this exists. This is the sacred map, God's divine blueprint, not just of nations and borders, but of souls. Your soul. Have you ever felt different, like you don't quite fit in, like you're carrying something, a weight, a purpose, that others around you don't understand? That's because you are different. Ephesians 1 verse 4 tells us, "For he chose us in him before the creation of the world." Before the foundation of this earth, before your parents met, before your first breath, God positioned you at a specific point on his divine grid. Look carefully at this map. Each light represents one of God's chosen ones, but notice, they're not randomly scattered. They form a precise pattern, a network of divine energy. And you, yes, you watching right now, are positioned at what we call a pivot point. Do you understand what this means? A pivot point is where everything can change direction. It's where the balance of power shifts. It's where God places his most trusted servants, those who have been tested, broken, and refined through trials that would crush ordinary people. Has your life felt like it's been shattering lately? Your finances crumbling, relationships strained, health challenges appearing out of nowhere? That's no accident. That's spiritual warfare targeting a pivot point. The enemy knows the map too, and he's systematically targeting God's chosen ones, especially those at pivot points, because he understands something terrifying. If you fall, the chain of light breaks. But if you rise, if you stand in your divine assignment, the whole system awakens. Isaiah 61 verses 1 to 3 declares, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." See, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the peoples, but the Lord rises upon you, and his glory appears over you. Nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn. That government invitation coming your way isn't just a coincidence, it's confirmation that you've been recognized, not just by heaven, but by earth's authorities, as someone positioned at a critical juncture in history. When it arrives, and it will arrive, you'll face a choice that will affect not just your destiny, but the destinies of countless others connected to you on the grid. Do you feel the weight of that responsibility? Does it terrify you? Good, because God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. Look at your life right now. The financial struggles, the health battles, the relationship tensions. These aren't punishments, they're preparation. God is stripping away everything that would make you hesitate. When your moment arrives throughout history, God has placed his chosen ones at pivotal moments. Esther, for such a time as this. Joseph, positioned to save nations from famine. Daniel, placed in government to influence kings. The invitation you'll receive isn't just about you, it's about your position in the grid, your point of divine influence, the lives connected to yours that will either rise or fall based on your response. Why do you think the enemy has fought so hard to keep you broke, to keep you sick, to keep you doubting? Because he sees what you can't yet see, your position on the map. But today, right now, your spiritual eyes are being opened. You're beginning to understand why your struggle has been so intense, because your calling is so critical. If you find yourself holding a pivotal position that you never believed possible, a position that seems too important, too overwhelming for someone like you, I need you to declare it right now. Type in the comments, "I am the light point." This isn't pride, this is acknowledgement of your divine assignment. When that government invitation arrives, whether it's a letter, a phone call, or an unexpected meeting, you'll recognize it not as chance, but as divine confirmation of what God revealed to you today. The question isn't if it will come, but will you be ready when it does? Now, let me show you exactly what this invitation will look like and how to respond when it arrives in your hands. The Watchers. You are being watched by two forces. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. The invitation I just told you about? It's only half the story. The truth is far more serious than just a letter with your name on it. You're not just being summoned, you're being watched. Right now, as you sit there watching this video, two powerful forces have their eyes fixed on you. Two ancient, opposing powers tracking your every move, monitoring your decisions, waiting to see what you'll do next. Ever felt that strange sensation, the one that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, that feeling that someone's watching you even when you're alone? That's not paranoia, that's awareness. Your spirit is recognizing what your eyes cannot see. The first force watching you is the angel of light, your divine guardian, appointed by God Himself before you were even formed in your mother's womb. This celestial protector has intervened in your life more times than you'll ever know. Remember that car accident you narrowly avoided? That time you just happened to leave a building minutes before disaster struck? The job offer that came through right when your savings hit zero? That wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. That was divine intervention. Your angel of light has been instructed to guard you, to keep you alive for this exact moment in history, because your purpose is too important, your calling too critical to be cut short. Psalm 91 tells us, "For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." But there's a second force watching you, and its intentions are far darker. The guardian of darkness, a spiritual entity assigned to monitor your movements, to track your progress, to report back to powers that want nothing more than to see you fail. This force doesn't just observe, it intervenes. Ever notice how obstacles appear right when you're about to break through? How relationships fracture right when you need support? How your health falters right when opportunity knocks? How your finances collapse right when you're about to rise? This is spiritual warfare, plain and simple. Ephesians 6 verse 12 lays it out clearly. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. The system that's kept you struggling wasn't built by human hands alone. The opposition you face isn't just earthly. The battle for your destiny is being waged in realms you cannot see, but you can feel it. Why do you think you've survived everything life's thrown at you so far? Why haven't you been destroyed by the challenges that would have broken others? Because your divine assignment is too important, too crucial, too necessary for such a time as this. Picture this. An angel of light steps out of the radiance, positioning itself between you and the lurking shadows. This mighty protector, sword drawn, stands guard as the opposition circles, looking for any weakness, any opening to derail your destiny. The battle for your breakthrough isn't just spiritual, it's governmental. The powers that control the systems of this world know that once God's chosen ones step into their divine wealth and influence, everything changes. Think about it. Why would a government official be seeking you out? Why would your name be on a list? Because the transfer of power that's coming will shake every system built on keeping you down. But you need to understand something critical. This invitation coming your way isn't just an opportunity. It's a catalyst for warfare. The moment you receive it, the opposition will intensify. The question isn't if you'll be attacked. The question is, are you prepared for what comes after you say yes to your calling? Have you noticed the attacks increasing lately? Financial pressure tightening, relationships becoming strained, health challenges appearing out of nowhere. These aren't random trials. They're calculated assaults aimed at distracting you, depleting you, and ultimately destroying you before you can step into position. Tell me, chosen one, have you survived something that should have destroyed you? A crisis that others didn't walk away from? A financial collapse that would have ended anyone else? A health scare that defied medical explanation? If you've been supernaturally preserved, I need you to acknowledge it right now. Comment, "I'm guarded" below this video, as a declaration that you recognize the divine protection that's kept you alive for this moment. Your survival wasn't an accident. Your resilience isn't just personality. Your ability to bounce back isn't just willpower. You've been preserved by divine design, kept for a purpose that's about to be revealed. But here's what you need to understand about what's coming next. The invitation you'll receive isn't just paperwork. It's not just an opportunity. It's a divine authorization to access wealth and influence that has been kept from you, and the forces of darkness know it. That's why I need to warn you about what's waiting on the other side of your yes, and how to ensure that your breakthrough isn't stolen at the last moment. Because the most dangerous time in your journey isn't when you're struggling, it's right when you're about to succeed. What happens if you refuse the crying door? But what if you turn away? What if you see this divine invitation, this government summons, and choose to ignore it? What happens then? This is not just about you missing your blessing. This is about generations affected by a single moment of hesitation. This is about a divine appointment missed that can never be rescheduled. Officer Lucas showed me a vision I cannot unsee, a dimension of reality where God's chosen ones, people exactly like you, read their divine invitation and threw it away. This is a realm where you never entered your mission, he told me, his voice heavy with sorrow. And not just you, but the whole world suffers the consequences. Do you see it? This sacred gate that weeps because you never opened it. Those aren't just tears, they're the unfulfilled prayers of people you were destined to help. People who will never know abundance because you refused to step into yours. The Bible warns us about this very moment. In Esther 4 verse 14, "For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise from another place, but you and your family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" Let me be crystal clear. God will accomplish his purpose with or without you. The question is, will you and your house be blessed, or will you be bypassed? Think about it. How many times have you prayed for financial breakthrough? How many sleepless nights have you spent wondering how you'll make ends meet? How many years have you waited for God to fulfill the prosperity promises you've claimed? And now, when the answer is being hand-delivered to your doorstep, would you consider not answering? The greatest regrets in life aren't from the risks we took. They're from the moments we hesitated when destiny was calling. That knock you hear, it won't come again. Remember the parable of the 10 virgins in Matthew 25. 5 were prepared when the bridegroom came, 5 weren't. And to those who weren't ready, the bridegroom said these chilling words, "Truly I tell you, I don't know you." And the door was shut. Let me show you something that shakes me to my core. This is what I call the waiting room of regret. These are people who received their divine invitation 10, 20, even 30 years ago. People who felt that same stirring in their spirit that you're feeling right now. But they were skeptical. They were afraid. They thought, this can't be real, or this isn't for me, or I'll respond tomorrow. Now they sit alone with their social security checks, barely covering their medications, watching others walk in divine prosperity, knowing it could have been them. One man told me, I was invited to invest in a company back in the 1980s. Something felt special about it, divine even. But I was scared to take the risk. That company was Microsoft. I calculated what my investment would be worth today, and I can't even talk about it without breaking down. Don't misunderstand me. This isn't about greed. This is about stewardship, about having the resources to bless others, to support ministries, to leave a legacy. When God positions you for abundance, refusing it isn't humility, it's disobedience. This child is your grandchild. In one reality, they're looking through photos of your life and saying, my grandparent was chosen by God for something extraordinary. They answered the call, and our entire family lineage was blessed. In another reality, the one where you ignore this invitation, they're asking, why didn't they listen? Why didn't they act? We could have been free. Deuteronomy 30 verse 19 tells us, I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both you and your descendants may live. The door before you leads to life, to abundance, to purpose, but it won't remain open forever. Right now, at this very moment, a government official chosen by God is preparing to reach out to you. The question isn't whether they'll find you. The question is, when they do, will you be ready to answer? But I don't believe you're going to miss this. I don't believe you're watching this video by accident. The very fact that you're still here, still listening, tells me you're different from those who turned away. You're sensing it, aren't you? That stirring in your spirit, that's not just emotion, that's divine recognition. Your spirit is recognizing the truth. So, what exactly should you expect when this divine appointment arrives, and how will you know it's truly from God? Let me show you the unmistakable signs you need to watch for. Heaven's promise, rewards for the courageous. You feel it, don't you? That knot in your stomach, the fear that's kept you playing small all these years. I understand, because the enemy wants you afraid. He wants you frozen. He wants you to miss what God has prepared. Let me ask you something deeply personal. How many divine appointments have you already missed because fear held you back? How many blessings passed you by because you hesitated when God said move? But, chosen one, listen closely. What if this government invitation is the doorway God has been preparing your entire life? The world says be cautious, be realistic, stay small. But God says something entirely different. Isaiah 45 verses 2 to 3 says, I will go before you and will level the mountains. I will break down gates of bronze and cut through bars of iron. I will give you hidden treasures, riches stored in secret places, so that you may know that I am the Lord, the God of Israel, who summons you by name. Did you catch that? God doesn't just open doors, He shatters bronze gates. He doesn't just provide, He gives you hidden treasures. And why? Because He has summoned you by name. Think about David. When everyone else saw Goliath and trembled, David saw an opportunity for God's glory. They saw death, he saw destiny. What about you? When this invitation arrives, will you see threat or opportunity? Will you cower or will you rise? Let me tell you what happens when you step forward in holy boldness. Heaven itself moves on your behalf. First, you'll receive supernatural vision. While others stumble in darkness, confused by the chaos in our nation, your eyes will be opened. you'll see strategies and solutions that are hidden from the worldly mind. You'll make decisions with divine insight that will protect your family's future when others lose everything. I've seen this happen with Margaret, an 82-year-old widow from Toledo. When a government letter arrived about her property, everyone told her to ignore it. But something in her spirit said, "Pay attention." She stepped forward in faith and discovered her land contained mineral rights worth $1,700,000 that the system had hidden from her family for 3 generations. Second, you'll gain spiritual connection beyond anything you've experienced. Right now, God is positioning His chosen ones across this nation, in government offices, in financial institutions, in places of influence. When you step into your divine appointment, you'll be supernaturally connected to this network of believers who will become your protection and provision. And third, listen carefully. You will receive divine protection from every trap the enemy has set. Psalm 91 verse 3 promises, "Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare." While others fall into the pits dug by corrupt systems, you'll walk in supernatural protection. Do you realize what's happening right now in America? The wealth transfer prophesied for decades is underway, but it's not happening through the stock market or real estate. It's happening through divine connections and government channels most believers are too afraid to engage with. I received a call last week from a high-ranking official in Washington, I can't reveal their name, who told me the next 40 days will determine who receives and who misses out. Most Christians will be too suspicious to receive what's coming. Chosen one, I don't want that to be your story. I don't want you to be one who let fear rob you of what God has earmarked for you. When Moses stood at the Red Sea, he had 2 choices: retreat in fear or step forward in faith. When he stepped forward, God didn't just help him, He parted an entire ocean. Your invitation is coming. The choice will be yours. Will you retreat to what's familiar or step boldly into what God has prepared? If you are ready to step into the light, to receive every blessing heaven has prepared for this moment, I want you to type "I see" in the comments right now. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now. This isn't just a comment, it's a sacred contract between you and heaven, declaring that when your moment comes, fear will not hold you back. The gates of bronze are about to shatter before you. The treasures hidden in darkness are about to be revealed, but only for those courageous enough to step forward when called. And as you prepare your heart to receive, there's something crucial you need to understand about the timing of all this. Conclusion, beloved. As we come to the close of this message, I want you to take a moment. Place your hand over your heart. Feel that beating? That's not just a heart, that's the divine rhythm God placed within you before time began. You didn't stumble upon this video by accident. This wasn't random. This was a divine appointment, a spiritual summoning. And from this moment forward, everything will change. Remember what we've discovered today. First, a government official chosen by God is preparing to reach out to you, not out of coincidence, but because heaven has marked you for this moment. Second, the struggles you've endured weren't punishment, they were preparation, refining you for the prosperity that's now being released. Third, when you step forward in faith, rather than shrinking back in fear, supernatural support will surround you on every side. Look at me, I need you to hear this. You are not alone in what you're about to face. The God who parted the Red Sea, who brought down the walls of Jericho, who raised Jesus from the dead, that same God is orchestrating every detail of what's unfolding in your life right now. There are thousands watching this message who are experiencing the exact same stirring in their spirit. You're part of something bigger than yourself, a community of the chosen, the called, the appointed for this hour. But here's my question for you. Will you keep this revelation to yourself, or will you boldly declare what God is doing? If you felt spiritually awakened during this message, don't bottle it up. Share it, declare it. Stand up and be counted among those who weren't afraid to say yes when heaven called their name. Right now, I want to pray for you, not some generic prayer, but a specific declaration of power over your life. Would you bow your head with me? Heavenly Father, I come before you now on behalf of your chosen one watching this message. Lord, I thank you that they were born for such a time as this. I thank you that every tear, every setback, every moment of lack was working together for their good. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray, unlock their spiritual vision right now. Let them see with heaven's perspective. Remove the scales from their eyes so they can recognize divine appointments when they arrive. Activate the hidden power you've placed within them. Stir up the gifts, the calling, the anointing that's been dormant, waiting for this precise moment. Break every chain of fear and limitation that has held them captive. Shatter the lies that told them they were ordinary, that they didn't deserve abundance, that they couldn't make a difference. Lord, we stand on your promise in Zechariah 4 verse 6, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, says the Lord of hosts. It's not their human strength that will carry them through this season. It's your Spirit working through them. As we close this time together, I feel in my spirit that for some of you, this invitation will arrive within days, not months. For others, God is still positioning certain people and resources, but make no mistake, it is coming. I'm so grateful you stayed with me throughout this message. Your faithfulness to hear it through completely tells me you're truly one of the chosen ones God is speaking to. If you believe this warning comes straight from heaven, hit that like button right now. If you want to continue this journey with me as we uncover more about what's coming and how to prepare, leave a comment saying I rise or I step into destiny. Please don't miss what's coming next. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you'll know immediately when part 2 is released. What I've shared today is just the beginning. There's so much more heaven wants to reveal. For those who feel led to support this ministry financially, your generosity through Super Thanks helps us continue spreading these urgent messages to God's chosen ones around the world. Every contribution, no matter the size, makes a difference. Remember, chosen one, you are stepping into the most important season of your life. That government invitation isn't just paper and ink. It's heaven's confirmation that everything is about to change. Go forward with courage. Go forward with faith. And know that I'm praying for you every single day. Until next time, this is Divine Wisdom reminding you that you are chosen, you are called, and you are never, ever alone.